Little Kings from Paul Kelly there on ABC Coast FM, where it is 9 to 5. We're talking about ultimate gifts this afternoon, and if there was going to be a declared winner of the perfect prize, Tweed man James Shugg might definitely be in with a shot, soon to donate a kidney to his 11-year-old son Nicholas. James joins us this afternoon to talk us through the gift that he's never going to be able to top. James, hello.
Hello, how are you going?
Very well, thank you. Now, obviously, you and your family have gone through some really difficult times to find yourself having to come to a decision like this. Can you talk us through Nicholas's situation?
Well, Nicholas, when he was born, was quite a healthy-looking baby, but about 7 months of age, he started to not keep down his feet when going to solids, and it was a bit of a shock at that time when they came along and said, oh, his kidneys are failing, and a lot of people really don't get on board with what that means, and you think they're going to die, and he's a little baby at birth weight at 7 months, and we've worked through it from there. We've learnt, we've studied a lot, and Melissa, my ex-wife, she's done a lot of research through the years on diets, and it's I suppose the big thing, doing that research and finding out what needs to be done for your child. You do it any day of the week.
So what did you actually find was going on with Nicholas's kidneys for them to be failing like that in the first place?
He was sort of I think it's 1 in 200,000 people are born with a small distorted kidney, and the other one's generally good. He was actually born with both, so it was fairly rare for that to happen.
Oh, poor little mate.
Yeah, he was, but he was funny. Even as a kid, he was this little baby that was full of beans. He'd just be bouncing around everywhere. And you'd, even right up until today, you'd look at him, you'd think there was nothing wrong with him. You've seen the photos in the paper?
Yeah.
He's pretty much, he's like that all the time. He's full of beans. He's got a great sense of humour. He's very sort of out there, got a lot of friends. And then occasionally, I was talking the other night with him, he fell asleep in the shower. So, he'll have that time where he just hits a wall and he'll just lay down for a day or so.
Little kids are just incredibly resilient like that, aren't they? And can teach us all a lot about positivity. So to get to this point where you find yourself now about to donate one of your own kidneys to your son, has the situation has it gotten progressively worse, or now you've just sort of discovered that this is the right path?
We've sort of been on the path of constant updates every 8 to 12 weeks, finding out where his blood levels are at. The creatinine's been the indicator, and I'm a very positive-minded person. I always sort of put it that day is going to be further away, but we're aiming towards the end of this year, and then that was only from the beginning of this year where it got to that point. 2 years ago I would have been saying he was 20 before I needed one, but you know that once it starts to turn, that you get to a point where there's not much turning back. So you got to start the planning from there, and getting back. I've spent on 2 weeks holidays and getting back to find that his bloods have jumped up a fair bit. That they're starting dialysis in as little as 4 weeks. It's sort of that's the point where you want to stop it. You want to say, right, okay, let's not go down that path. It's sort of 5 hours a day, 3 days a week, sitting there stationary with your blood being filtered through a machine.
That is an unbelievable amount of time.
Yeah, and I've just seen one of my clients who's been through it recently, and you see him. He always had a great spirit, but his arms, his veins on his arms are so bloated, and he had carried a fair bit of fluid within him, and he's thankfully had a donation about 6-8 months ago, and he's looking great now. I haven't seen him in a couple of months, but last time I saw him, he was doing very well.
How awesome to have someone else so close in your life that's a first-hand experience of the kidney donation. And
it was funny, I was sort of dealing with him, and I didn't hear from him in 4 weeks, and next time I got home, he's out of hospital, I got the new kidney, and I'm like, well, geez, that one happened very quick. So it's an operation that is it's fairly safe. I mean, there's always complications that can happen, but it's pretty quick as well.
So what's the actual process of finding out that you are even able to give away a kidney?
It's a bit easier with, I suppose I'm same blood type and tissue type is within that category. To donate to Nicholas is fairly, it puts us, both me and Melissa, we're up there, and from that point there's other, just yesterday I've just had a CT scan, so I've been up to Brisbane, Princess Alexandra, they've gone through that. We've taken blood on Monday to do the final tissue typing test, so it's still not a given that I'll be the donor. It's still always those last minute things that could stop it, but at this point in time, I'm past everything so far.
So you would have obviously talked in length with doctors about the procedure and exactly what happens with a donation and a transplant. Did having that knowledge ease your mind, or did it make it a little scarier?
Actually, I think the doctors will talk in a certain sense, but it all will travel in one ear and sometimes go the other, or bounce around your head. And basically, the one thing that really, making a decision is easy. People say, of course, you donate to your child, and everyone would, and that's the point where you can go, right, I'll put my hand up, I'll do this. And then it's you've only got bits and pieces of scattered information, and that's when the fear side comes in. Well, where am I at? But back in February, the Princess Alexandra Hospital, they run these kidney seminars, and it was quite a mind-opening experience to go to that, because you remove the fear of the unknown. Once you've got that plan in your head, you can see how resilient kidneys are, for starters. That a lot of people, and after going through that, I met different people who would have just have one kidney, they're fine, and other people who've known people who've gone their whole 70, 80 years with one kidney, and died from other causes. So you look at that and you think the kidney is probably the most resilient of your organs, that you really only need the one. And that a lot of diseases that come into the kidneys, they're not that common, but I mean, when you add it up over a population, there's still a lot of people waiting on donor lists, and that list is sometimes 5-6 years long for those.
Yeah, that is a long time, and I guess that's the thing. It encourages you from now on to live an even healthier existence. You and your son being healthy together.
Well, it's Melissa and myself. We sat there and sort of said, "Well, okay, who's going to do it?" We both put the hand up, and I said, for me at this stage in life, if he needs another one in 30 years, I'm going to be 70. I don't think I'm going to be as good a shape as what she's in. So,
yeah, right.
I think get mine out of the way now. And plus, we've still got two other children, Matthew and Grace. I think they're listening. Hello, Nick, Matt, and Grace.
G'day, Dad.
Had to get that out of the way.
It's very important.
And also to Jem, my business colleague here, who's said, make sure you mention me. So he'll be out there driving in the car.
James, you're doing little good favours for everyone all around right now, aren't you?
But within that, it's within kidney donation, you've got different forms. You've got your cadaveric transfers that coming from a deceased to someone who's gone on the donor list. And before we even had children, I actually had that ticked on my driver's license that I would be a donor, and my parents were, from a young age, had always talked about that once you're dead, you really can't have much use for your body, can you?
Absolutely, and organ donations are remarkably low in Australia, so it's certainly worth ticking that box. James, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
You're welcome.
And we really look forward to hearing the results for both you and James after this takes place. I mean, you and Nicholas, sorry, darling. And really look forward to hearing the results.
All right, well, as I say, we'll know more in about 2 weeks. It's sort of the final couple of exams, and hopefully there'll be sometime mid-August.
Well, James, good luck with it all, and thank you again for talking to us this afternoon.
Thank you for your time.
You are on ABC Coast FM. We're fast approaching the 5 o'clock news. Certainly hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday.